Good morning. I am Dr. R.R.SUDAROLI, Assistant Professor, Department of History, St.Joseph Arts and Science College, Cuddalore, Manjukuppam. Today my topic is Nanking, Reforms of Nanking Government, Unit number 3, in subject History of China, Japan. In 1928, the China was the head of the authority, Chiang Kai-shek, as a central government as national and central government, which was headed by the China. He was in a position to capture of the Beijing, and was concluded with the Treaty of Manchuria, which was accepted of the Manchurian supremacy. And after his the people of China, now the accepted of the reforms was not so easy because the China was faced with serious difficulties. These difficulties were, the first one is the feudal who were the search of and the opportunity, the rise of the head. At the time of the period in 1928, moreover, the 5,000 successor feudal lords in the country of China. So, moreover, feudal lords, it was the opportunity, one of the opportunity was central government of the weakness of the time. He was occupied the position of the head. And second one is leftist party. Because leftist party is a Kuomintang party, some criticism of the internal party's policy. And third one is the Communist Party. Because the Communist Party was founded by Mao, the great leader. Because the Communist Party, he was occupied the moreover provinces of the China. He was against of the government policy. And despite of all the difficulties of the Kuomintang of Chiang Kai-shek, they introduced of the internal reforms of the country. The moreover difficult of the problem, they face the problem. But Chiang Kai-shek, they introduced some internal reforms in the country included. In order to improve of the economic condition of the people and economic department of the separate department under the TV Sheng was set up. The more foreign companies and the foreign merchants, they interfere of the economic field. So the many people, the Chinese people, the loss of the economic activities. Many merchants, they face the many serious problem, that is the loss of our traders activities. So the Chiang Kai-shek government was introduced as a separate economic department under the TV Sheng, they set up the separate department of economic activities. This department endured the foreign influence, in the country of the economic field. எந்த விதமான பொருளாதார தலையீடும் பொருளாதார ரீதியான துறையில் அந்நிய சக்தியில் தலையீடு இருக்கக்கூடாது. So that is very important part, the end of the foreign influence. Because moreover merchant companies, the European companies must be visited as a plunder of the national resources of the Chinese fertile places. So the Chiang Kai-shek government is particularly is a banned with the economic foreign influence of in economic field. And second point, the department introduced a measure leading reduction of the economic government expenses. The chief ministers as the minister of the government officials, he was a lot of the spend of the money. So this government of the central government of the Chiang Kai-shek government, they introduced a leading reduction of the government expenses and in the created of the national income, an effort made the and end of the influence of the power of the economic field. In order to the improve means of the better transportation were taken the spread of construction of the railways lines. That is very important because the entire places of in whole China was the construction of the new railway contractors, construction of the buildings. And either of the workers of the construction joined and collective responsibility because the provincial and central government authority. He was a separate department of the railways under the government. Then now the separate railway department is created, which given the responsibility, this department was also record the new roads and also manage the existing of the roads and railways. The railway department was created a recruitment of the construction of the new roads of the entire places of China and also the manage existing road and railways. In this means of the better transportation were improved and communication was improved and arrangement were made for maintaining the public health, and it was end of the with view the eating of the opium, the forbidden, and the work relating to welfare of the factories workers was taken. It is very important because the maintenance of the public health is many people, the Chinese many people are both are men and women, they are eating of the opium because the modern society was totally collapsed, is cultural collapse. The government was realized, the government was realized, Shanghai government was realized, he was banning of the eating opium in the entire China, and he was working related of the welfare and factory workers was taken because the welfare of the people was neglected of the people, some Manchurian dynasty peoples. So the Shanghai government, that is full responsibility, the welfare work was constructed by the taken up, and the new construction of new roads and also managing existing of the roads and railways. This was means of the transport was improvement, the transportation very improvement, and in order to the introduce of the economic currency reforms is very important and the impact of the Chinese economic field. So they introduced the currency reforms. The commission was set up the assistance of foreign exporters because many are the use of the time at the time of the gold and coins, gold and silver coins more than used the people. So there is currency reforms where commission was set up and assistant foreigner expert. He need the help of Shanghai Sheikh and the foreign supported and the foreign expected. He was checking of the economic atmosphere, and currency reforms was implemented of the Chinese society, and steps were taken, the spread of education and many schemes were introduced. Is more than very important of the point. The steps were taken from the spread of the new education because the many schemes were introduced the education field. The many people is studied, the many people are studied in abroad, is particularly Japan, is Chinese people getting the education because the internal education system is not good. So the getting the higher education, so many people was abroad and getting the education, the completely education. He came from mother country of China, is getting up the job of in government job, getting the government job. The last the ancient period of the getting the acharya, so the completely acharya degree and the getting the post and government officials. So the old system. After the British government was interfering, they occupied the Chinese society. The many Europeans was visited in the Chinese field. So new education system and Western pattern was introduced. Curriculum or some important topics and syllabus was interfere with the education field. So some of the impact. So the new scheme was introduced because Western pattern were introduced. The law commission was set up as very important. The traditional and the civil and criminal law were now replaced. The ancient of China, the traditional customs of the criminal and civil activities now replaced because the law department, law commission was replaced the new law in a new lines of the Western legal pattern, where enacted of the almost the whole legal system was overhauled. Even the law court was recognized. The Shanghai government the set up the law commission, the law criminal and civil punishment is not civil punishment is banned and was enacted of the almost whole legal system. This changes. That is even the law court was recognized. அதாவது சட்டத்திற்கு வழக்குகள் நீதிமன்றங்கள் மற்றும் புதுமையாக மாற்றப்பட்டு அனைத்து விதமான மக்களுக்கும் நீதி வழங்குகின்ற ஒரு முறையை என்ன பண்ணுதுன்னா அந்த ஷங்காய் கவர்மெண்ட் மிகப்பெரிய அளவில் மாற்றத்தை ஏற்படுத்தி கொடுத்தது. தேங்க்யூ.